YouTubers, welcome back to the Engine Histories. Today we are finally taking a look at the warrior herself. One of them anyway. Today we're looking at Quack. Katie herself. So anyway, and by the way, this is the last time it gets filmed on a Friday. It'll go back to the Thursday schedule starting next week. So, Anyway, KT was built from December 1914 to May 1915. She was named in the beginning of May, along with her older brother Thomas, who's like a special twin to her. Her birthday is May 21st, 1915, which is her service day. The day she actually went into service. So, she spent one day at Southampton Docks, but obviously that went into smithereens due to the treatment of the mental treatment she and her older brother got from a man who must not be named, as he's a bad taste. Anyway. So the next day, she went to work in London as a station pilot for both London before the Great Northern Railways station King's Cross, and London Rise and Coast Railways and London Station London Victoria. Although she saw more service she spent more time at King's Cross than London Victoria. In June 1915, she passed her test to be a passenger engine. She also helped with the construction of the Vickerstown Bridge, along with a few other engines from the Great Northern Railway. All of whom were B-12s. Also that month, the construction of her new branch line, London Country Moose Hill, was ran from King's Cross Station in London to Manchester City. The engine was put to work on the branch line with her most of the time. A B-12 named Romeo. Also during that time, that summer, she went to Soda for the first time. And so the summer, on and off was the railway, helping her big brother Thomas out with shunting and taking trains. She also met the coffee pot Glyn, who was still in service at that time. And that started the trend of her going to Soder every other year. After her Soder visit in 1915, she then went back to working in London at King's Cross and London Victoria. During her early years in London, she was mistreated by a betrayal named Alfred, who was 98462. By the way, folks, 98462. However, unlike in Soda Oranges, Alfred did not die on the island, but rather he died in London trying to kill Katie. So in 1917, she went back to the North Western Railway again for the summer. Which gave her time away from Alfred. That fall, for a month, she was alone to Northwick Docks, where Toby and his siblings worked. This was before Toby went to his first tramway and then his second. This was before. Anyway. She and her oldest brother Andrew took turns delivering coal to Yardsmith Docks, by the way. Was one of their jobs. So, you guys might be asking, wait, why was she loaned to Yardsmith Docks if she hates fish? No, she wasn't working with fish at Yardsmith Docks. She handled the shunting passengers coaches on taking passengers and goods on that little area. After her month's stay at Yardsmith Docks, she went back to London's King's Cross. So, pretty much, that's how she got hurt. That's pretty much her first few years in service. So, from 1918, she started picking up the milk that was delivered to Battle Station on the Sodor and bringing it to London. She would double head this train with an E4. By the name of Kendrick. Like her, he was the only other London Line South Coast engine built by said railway that worked on the Great Northern. Though it was a common sight whenever the two ventured out to Barrow-in-Furness and they ended up on trains together. They were good friends. And spoiler, yes, he's still around to this day and age. But anyway. In addition to picking up the milk, she also ran her bench line to time. The E4. Kenneth also helped down the line whenever he could. Especially when it came to the difficulty of Alfred. However, neither of them well, anyway. It's too dark to say. In late 1918, she went back to Soto to celebrate Christmas with her older brother Thomas. She ended up staying on the island for a longer visit than Christmas. However, during this long visit, Colin of the Wellsworth Accessory said that she wasn't one of the true Soto engines. Mr. Gilbert Perkins, who was the railway's controller, ended up sending him packing. He ended up sold to the LNER, and you guys can pretty much tell what happened to him later in life. Ugh. It was also during the early 1919. She and Donald worked together. And later that year, she went to Scotland with Kenneth and 2 other betrothed on a loan contract. That contract ran for 3 months, and then she returned in November 1919. Yeah. Whenever she worked for Donald, it was a relief. It was also during the 1918 to 1923 period that she was hired, given the task of working with James. That's right. Past James and his headcanon, he, along with his older brothers, served in World War I, whereas Katie and her siblings did not. Thankfully. Because James was shell-shocked after the war in 1918. The Yorkshire Railway was dissolved into the LMS. Worked out a contract with the Great Northern. I sent James to London, and he was placed under Katie's care. Learning all over again how to handle trains. Working as a station pilot. It was also during this time period that she witnessed the lens that Sir Nigel Gresley had to make an express engine. From 1920, when she dropped off paint at the London Works, she met Sir Nigel Leslie for the first time. It was there. He told her the set of blueprints to make a new express engine was turned out to be the A1s. She was in awe. Anyway, so after that, she continued to work hard, visited Sodor, to make sure her big brother is doing well. And she was kept well informed. In 1922, the year before the Big Four was formed, she and Romeo helped deliver Henry to the Northwestern Railway to Belle-in-Furness. From there, Henry went to the Northwestern Railway on his own. It is also noted that Katie was a part of both trials Henry had in the Northwestern, as he was visiting both times, as he was. Though, unlike Henry, she had no flaws. Really. One of Katie's jobs on her branch line was taking the kids who lived on the branch line to school. She would take the regulars who lived in London and worked farther away from London to work via her branch line to Manchester City Station, Manchester Central Station to be precise. Then on her return trip, she would pick up the school kids and take them to London King's Cross, where they would then transfer to another train. If they went to they went to a school that had rail access. After the school train, she would then shunt milk wagons empty milk wagons and then take them back along her branch line. After the final trip, she then heads back to King's Cross, light engine, and goes back to shunting in the yard. When the school day ends, she takes the return trip of the school train back to back along the branch. The school train was very important during these days. Is it important nowadays? Still is. I doubt only one school had rail access. Anyway, during in 1922, she met the 8-0s for the first time, which were the prototypes for the A1 Express engine, the same class that Sir Nigel Leslie showed her the plans of back in 1920. One of these engines was, of course, Gordon! Yeah, In this canon, Gordon actually worked on the Great Northern Railway before he went to the Northwestern. Instead of just sitting in the works like he was an ornament on a Christmas tree. Not joking. She and Gordon struck up a friendship, and it was thanks to her in 1923 that he was recommended to go to the Northwestern Railway. He ended up purchased by the Northwestern Railway, and, well, we'll go through his and history soon. Anyway. In 1923, the Big Four happened. And she officially was registered under the Southern Railway. Her contract with the Great Northern, which now was under the LNER, was extended. Which was a great relief to others. And she continued to improve her worth. She also visited Sodor for a few months in 1923. The rest of 1923 was uneventful. It was also the second summer she spent on Yarmouth docks. As he did so in 1921. In 1924, Moffat now back on the LNER after a failed trial in the Northwestern. He was more vicious than ever. They continued to talk to Little E too. It was then he started making his plans to kill Katie. However, she tried to not let it phase her. She remained focused on her work, flying her benchline, and being hit by a London King's Cross. In early 1925, the LNER and the Southern Railway met in a meeting to discuss the status of whether or not she would remain working under the Southern or sold to the LNER. This was the only. This was one of the few times this type of meeting happened. Even though her contract had been extended. Because, at this point, the man who shall not be named was signed a button for the hit of his taking her away from him. He was saying that it was his property, not theirs. However, the Southern Railway overwrote this, and she remained as station pilot for both London Victoria and King's Cross. In 1926, they spent 2 weeks on London Victoria. As one of the station pilots there, Albert, had broken down. It would take a bit of time to fix. This led Kendrick, the E4, to fill in for her as the head station pilot at King's Cross for the 2-week period. However, she still ran her branch line. Like her brother Sean, who also had a branch line, also ran a school train. As his branch line also had a farm field and a forest. Although Katie never ventured onto her brother's branch line. After the 2-week period, she went back to London's King's Cross, when Albert returned. She continued to help out London Victoria whenever she could. In 1928, the Southern Railway and the LNER met again. And it was at this point they started facing her off Southern Railway property due to the complaints of the man who shall not be named. And he was threatening to steal her on Southern Railway property, which she was easily accessible to be stolen. Yeah. Somebody's a prick. The LNER agreed to keep her on their property. However, she remained maintained the friendships with the London Victoria station pilot crew. Later in 1928, a night train. Well, you guys can pretty much tell what happened. She had an accident with the tree, which not only involved her, also involved Flying Scotsman, who was losing the main line part of her branch line. Luckily, both were rescued and sent to London, Doncaster, to LNER's Doncaster Works for repairs. Both were put back into service and continued to work as normal. In 1929, she was loaned to Northwestern again. From March to June this time around, switching things up with with Kenneth again filling in for her in London. In September 1929, she and a few A1s were present, and Kenneth received the news that he was been officially bought the LNER. Yup. He was overjoyed. Noble awards of the Navy! He also been under the threats of the same man, which had not been named, just like Katie and her older siblings. Although, unlike Kendrick, it took the only a bit more time to buy her. But anyway. The rest of the time, she remained in faithful service for both the Southern and the LNER. In 1936, the man who threatened to steal her and bring her back to Southampton disappeared. He also did not pay to have a vault. Yup. Mr. Idiot finally abandoned her. She was withdrawn from service in 1936 for her revolt, which started at Doncaster Works, which had prepared her after her reaction in 1928. However, the LNER did the right thing and started her revolt. They had another meeting with the Southern Railway just before it, which allowed them to do so. However, the Southern Railway was very ticked off with the man who shall not be named for abandoning her like that. The man also abandoned her siblings and the rest of the Southampton Docks crew. The Southern Railway officially put someone else who knew they were doing were mean to the engines in charge of Southampton Docks. Key's overhaul took a long time. And in May, and in the spring of 1939, she was bought by the LNER, had overhaul completed, and returned to service just before World War II wreaked havoc on the country. Yeah. During World War II, she also received to butter 106 KDO. You will know now she was officially LNER property, and that's property of the Southern. In 1941, On May 31st, she did a noble act. German bombers were on the way to bomb King's Cross Station, aka the London bombing. And kids were being evacuated to the countryside. Okay, using quick thinking, volunteered herself, asking Mr. Starr if it was okay. When she gave the okay, which is Sir Nigel Edward Starr, the brother to Captain Starr, who worked at Big City Port. Anyway. So she got 5 cultures, brought the cultures into the station. The kids got on, and she brought them to safety, using her branch line. Once again, had the main line connection. With good thinking too. Sadly, however, King's Cross ended up being bombed. However, 106 aka Leo dug up the Great Western, and the rest of the Big Four banded together to save the stations and to save the people. They were all However, that night, York was bombed, and the LNER lost Scavell. Which was Edgewood the first in the bombing. It was made it hard for Kay to sleep that night because she heard the German planes flying all the way to York. Ugh. The next day, she was sent along with in South Africa, who had been on her branch line the previous day, to help clean up the mess in York. However, it was a pitiful sight. Seeing the remains of her good friend, who died very young. After that, she was sent to the Northwestern Railway for a month to get her buffers off. Her minor buffers off the sights she saw. Ugh. It's a pitiful. During her 1-month visit, a certain South Tank engine who shall not be named was very, very rude to her. Well, it was also during the Second World War that the LNER sent Colin to work on the Northwestern. He was still his bad self. And the war didn't mail him out whatsoever. After Kate's 1-month visit, she went back to King's Cross, continuing her station pilot duties. It was also this point that she no longer worked on the Victoria, which was pretty much understandable. During their time back up in London, Lefebvre and Gordon were loaned by the Northwestern to help out on extra trains. Both of them returned to the Northwestern. However, just about 3 weeks shy of Gordon's visit back up to London, and the War Department called the Northwestern up next to Wheel Power. So Gordon ended up being sent back up to London. Was sent to the works, and then was sent out to the front lines. Love two engines, Mallard, his cousin, A4, and the J50 Paul. In return, Dale Near was now co-owned Katie with the Northwestern, sent her back to the Northwestern, along with an engine with her. And then domestic employee guys as well. Both Dell and ER and the LMS been joined by Dell and the and joined together with working together on Dell and ER. On the Northwestern. Although Northwestern and Miss Air Cannon joined the LNER to fail to keep afloat and to prevent the railway from closing. Unlike in the railway series, they joined the NMS, although the LMS still ran trains with the to the Northwestern and back. So Katie spent the rest of the war on the Northwestern. Then she went back to LNER in London King's Cross in 1945. It was also a few months after this that her brother had officially been named. But unfortunate for her brothers and the rest of the Southampton Ducks crew, the man who had abandoned them had returned. It was just nasty as ugh. However, he had no control of Katie whatsoever this time around. The ban was made official. She was no longer allowed on Southern Railway's medals for her safety. Which suited her just fine. However, her brothers were still allowed to help out on the LNER. So, from the rest of 1945 to 1948, Katie made both her railways proud, continuing to run her branch line, and continuing to show that she was a really useful engine. On January 1st, 1948, the LNER, the LMS, the Southern and the Great Western all became British Railways. And just a few months after that, the North Western, doing so well under Sir Charles Topham Hatt, finally broke away from the LNER, being able to stay afloat. However, they still maintained a good working contract, which enabled them to still run trains. It was still allowed you to visit the North Western. So he visited the island for a few final times in the 1950s. In the mid-1950s, she was withdrawn from service and had another overhaul. She returned to steam in 1958, which was a blessing. And she served her final years with British Railways without any hiccups. She was brought into privatization but by a preservation group, was maintained 50 to 60% ownership of her. I bought out the British Railways. I ended up drawing up a contract with both British Railways and North Western, was able to maintain about the other half of her. Under her current contract with British Railways, she would remain in service till 1964. Which pleased all the parties involved. During her final British Railways year, she met Ewan Starr and started seeing engines being taken away to the scrapyard. In September 1963, the unthinkable happened. She was stolen from King's Cross Station Yard by a pair of diesels, taken to London Works, which had prepared her back in, well, during her last overhaul in the mid-1950s. And the men of the group of the men who have stolen her subject her to a horrible operation and put he ended up in a Narragate's body and was sent to Dublin, Ireland, sold illegally to the Dublin, Ireland Railway, with two other engines also have been subject to the same horrible fate as her. Una and A3, one of Gordon's sisters, and one of Everett's brothers, Bruce, a K2. Unfortunately, all three of them remain stuck on Dublin Railway. And you guys can pretty much tell British Railways are fucking furious. They weren't pleased about this. Neither was her other owners, her Preservation Group and the North Western. Because the man had done unthinkable, he had also cut anyone off that had contact with her. I left them in the dark. He had also been responsible for killing two of her brothers, John and Scott. 32101 and 322 and 32102. Lotus brother Andrew 32100 ended up being bought by the Green Bay Wisconsin National Railroad Museum. Landscaped before the man could find out, thanks to men at Battery Island. The fellow in various Los Angeles deserved life. In late March 1967, she ended up in the scrapyard, where the people that ran it put it out on the paper, and the ad made its way to Sodor. On April the 1st, 1967, Sir Charles Topham Hatt, the Northwestern Railway's controller, called the scrapyard that had her, and then made arrangements to head to London and then fly out to go pick her up, like a buyer. We also proved that he, along with her Preservation Group, have real ownership of her. The men at the scrapyard revealed she was stolen property. And they handed her back over to her actual owners. She returned to London, was put back in her actual body, because few of those men were still around that had did this to her. And then the men got arrested. She was then sent to the Northwestern Railway. She was sent over for any damage and was given a light overhaul. She became a work shunter for a period of time and was visited by British Railways Head Board members who officially cleared her for duty. In 1968, She was sent to the Farquhar Branch for the first time in a while to cover for her brother Thomas, who went to the works for his 5-yearly overhaul service. When he returned in 1972, a few weeks after he returned, he was officially reunited with his little sister. She became head center in London's, and she officially became head center at Vickerstown Station. With Bruce, that was brother, was also put to work with her. Following year, he was transferred to the London branch, leaving Katie to work by herself. In 1971, Paxton, the Glassley Center that had worked with her back in her final years in her British Railways career, was officially bought by the Northwestern and was sent to work with her at Vickerstown Station. It was after that she then went to the works for her 10-yearly overall service. When she returned in 1975, she and Paxton were joined by Sydney, one other diesel. However, during her final British Railways working years, she had never met the little diesel. However, Sydney is a friendly, hard-working chap. It was also at this point, Jimmy, aka Diesel, was also one of the station pilots at Vickerstown. In 1978, she and Henry went to the West Side Railway for the first time, where she was put on display while Henry took trains.